Rodriguez. CUNY student Amy Santana. State Senator Brian Kavanaugh. And please join me in welcoming the 57th governor of the great state of New York, Governor Kathy Hochul.
Good morning. Good morning. It is great to be at this incredible institution. Delighted to be here. First of all, I want to acknowledge you'll be hearing from shortly in district. This is where his district is, our Senator Brian Kavanaugh. I want to welcome him here this morning, although you're welcoming me. So also Senator Guillermo Linares, President of New York State Higher Education Services Corporation. Guillermo, Dr. Guillermo. Also, you heard our Chancellor, Philos Matos Rodriguez, is here. I want to thank our CUNY Chancellor for all his great work. Cesar Perales, our Vice Chair of the SUNY Board of Trustees, is here. Our Borough President, Mark Levine, is he here? I think he's coming. Bill Thompson, our CUNY Board Chair. Bill, great to see you again. Sandra Wilkin, our Vice Chair of the CUNY Board. Sandra. James Davis, the President of the Professional Staff Congress at CUNY. James, thank you for being here. Thank you. And we have a young woman you're going to hear from shortly, and that is Amy Santana, who is a nursing student at BMCC. She's going to talk about her experience and what a program that we're going to be announcing and talking about does for her and her son, Noah, who's heading into kindergarten shortly. So let's give a round of applause for both of them. It's great to be back at the Borough of Manhattan Community College. This is not my first visit, and you might be noticing an interesting backdrop here. This is called the Double Rainbows of Tatooine. And I was just wondering, does anyone know the significance of Tatooine? Nobody? Star Wars. Who was born, not born there, he was born on a ship, but who was raised there? Luke Skywalker. You guys get, okay. Maybe that's the artist. You're not the answer, I don't know. But you know, I watched a lot of Star Wars, so I had, I think it first launched in maybe 77, and I had younger brothers, 10 years younger than me, 13 years younger, and we all played around with our lightsabers, and you know, we all, of course, I was Princess Leia at the time. It's significant because I think of the immortal words of the great philosopher Yoda. And he said once, do or not do, but there is no try. Do or not do. Today, we do. Today, we do something significant. Today, we're talking about a program that is literally going to transform the lives of so many New Yorkers, to give them the key to unlock the possibility of a better future by getting a college degree at either a CUNY or SUNY institution. So when this institution opened back in 1963, the classrooms were scattered all over in offices and hotel rooms and unusable spaces, but there was a knowledge and a reckoning that people in this community needed to have access to that key, that ticket out. So this was founded without a campus, more of a concept, more of an ideal. But the purpose was to help students at every stage of their lives, from every background, attain the opportunity to have a higher education. So today, BMCC has a great success story, over 27,000 students. It's extraordinary. Almost 2/3 female. I'm kind of partial to females. We got to get more women this education. And they come from 100 different countries. I mean, it's all happening right here. This is so exciting. So I was last year as lieutenant governor, but I'm really, really pleased to be here today because now that I am governor, it's more than just caring for this state. It's about preparing this state and the people who call themselves New Yorkers. And people come here to learn. They sometimes have to leave a current job when they see that there's not as much opportunity without having that degree and that ticket. So what happens in places like this is a transformation, not just of the person in that moment as they're able to be exposed to so many new ideas and teachers, and God bless the teachers, the professors here, the entire team. They also can make a difference for their families. Their families are forever altered. And I know what this is all about because my own family was transformed because of a college degree. My grandparents came from great poverty in Ireland. They came here with nothing. They were teenagers. Grandpa worked as a migrant farm worker in the wheat fields of South Dakota. Grandma and Grandpa got married very young and became domestic workers in Chicago, still trying to find that path. And that path came when they found a job at the steel plant in Buffalo, Lackawanna. My dad worked at that same steel plant. His brothers worked at that same steel plant. But what made the difference for my father when he was, again, very young, married my mom, they lived in a trailer park where my brother lived. And we ran out of room when I came a year later. What made a difference in my family's life was my dad's ability to be making steel, work in a steel plant, but also receive a college degree at the same time. A young father, I was on the way when he got that degree, but that transformed our personal life story. And a generation later, their daughter is the governor of New York. I want that opportunity, that possibility to be available for every single person who calls New York home. This is personal to me as the leader of this state. So that's why I'm here today. That key to the middle class that we were able to achieve, the ticket out of poverty, and that investment in the education of one person changed the outlook for my 5 siblings, their children, our children going forth. So how we show our commitment. First of all, it does come down to money. If you're willing to put money in the budget to show your priorities, and that is why we have an historic investment in education in the budget. My first budget just negotiated and on the books. The ink is barely dry. But with $31.5 billion, the highest level of state aid ever into education, and $8.2 billion into higher education. And I want to thank my partners in government, my colleagues who work so hard. And Senator Toby Stavisky could not be here. She's the chair of the higher education in the Senate, and Assemblymember Deborah Glick, 2 champions. And I want to thank them in their absence, but we wanted to make sure we got this message out. So what can CUNY and SUNY do? They can hire more faculty. That is a good thing. How about hiring more faculty? They can improve the campus operations. And today we're talking about something that has been long overdue, and that is expanding the tuition assistance program to support part-time students for the first time ever so they can further their careers. New York's tuition assistance program, TAP, as we all knew it growing up, we all wanted to get that TAP award, is one of the leading financial aid programs in the country. And since 1974, when it just started, over $30 billion has been invested in 6 million New Yorkers and allowing them to get skills, a degree, an education to benefit themselves. And back then, the first year of TAP, the average award was a whopping $335. Probably a lot of money back then, but fast forward half a century. And the last year, over 250,000 New Yorkers took advantage of this, and the average award was $330,000, or $3,300. So we've gone up exponentially. But TAP has always been there as that way to bridge the gap between what you might have in your family, especially families who don't have much, and the cost of your tuition. Is supposed to help you cross that bridge to opportunity. And that's what we've done. And we know TAP works. But yet, since its inception, it's been too limited. It has been too limited. And the chancellor talked to me about how many years people have raised this, have been fighting for this, to say, why can't we expand it? To think that someone has the ability to go to college full-time and not have any income coming in is just unrealistic. I don't know how many families could do that at all. So we've created a barrier, a ceiling for them by saying, no, you have to be full-time. You have to have enough money to go to school full-time in order to get the money if people don't have assistance. I mean, it doesn't make sense. This is the group of people you should have invested in first, the people who didn't have the ability just say, I won't take any income, I'm going to go become a student full-time. So now we're righting the wrong. And now the students who are eligible, no longer do you have to be earning 12 credits a semester, which was the requirement before, a full course load. These requirements are now going to be available to many more students. And think about who we're talking about. Who are we focusing on? Students with families, with beautiful children like Noah. People have to take care of their own parents or their own grandparents. We have so many people who have other responsibilities. People just have to be able to take care of themselves. And largely the ones affected and excluded from this opportunity were students of color, immigrant students, and female students, who are the ones who are always the ones having to take care of everybody. So that was bad. It didn't work. And it didn't help us prepare the workforce for the jobs that are waiting today and tomorrow. So we're eliminating all those requirements, expanding part-time TAP so it covers part-time students and those taking as few as 6 credits a semester at a SUNY or CUNY school or a not-profit college are now eligible for TAP. And it kicks in right away. Year 1, they enroll. Don't have to wait any longer. Okay, we're going to hear about it's actually working. And our view is we invest in people. And I'm announcing countless infrastructure projects and making sure that we have, get rid of the potholes and fix our streets and our roads and bridges and our transportation, our public transit. But the best investments are not in the physical infrastructure. It is the human infrastructure, investing in human beings. And I can't think of a better way to do this than what we're doing right here, right now, and saying part-time students matter. We have to lift you up so you can be part of not just the American dream, but the New York dream that is far sweeter. It is more diverse. It is more welcoming. It is more inclusive. And that's exactly what we're doing here today. $150 million investment. Initially, projections are it'll help over 75,000 students, and I hope it even helps more, over 75,000 right off the bat. So they don't have to choose from putting their lives on hold and pursuing an affordable education. So at a place like this, BMCC, student can cost $2,400 a semester. Now there's over 6,000 students eligible right here today on this campus to receive this. Right. So it might be part-time TAP, but it's a full-time priority of mine, making sure that we respond to the needs of the employers. And I will tell you, my friends, I walk the streets of the city daily. You don't recognize me most of the time, do you? That's all right. That's all right. Kind of short, kind of blend in the crowd. That's all right. But it allows me to be out there and see things that others don't see, that normally someone in my position wouldn't see. I'm feeling an energy coming back. I'm feeling the vitality of New York that had been suppressed for 2 long, hard years. I know it's there. And I'm also talking to employers on how we're bringing people back. But they say to me their #1 concern is finding the talent because the jobs are waiting for them. You know how different this is from when I was growing up in that steel town? There were no jobs to be had. That's why all my siblings left Western New York in search of jobs. I'm the last one out of a big family. Today, there's plentiful jobs, great jobs, jobs that'll lead to careers, but we don't have the people to step into them. I'd rather have that problem. I can fix that problem. You create the jobs. I'll create the pipeline. I'll invest in people right here on this campus and throughout this city and this state. Employers
So it is a great pleasure to be here at BMCC, which I'm very proud to represent. It's a great pleasure to have the governor, who's, I don't know how she does it, because she's, as the lieutenant governor and now as the governor, she is everywhere all the time. We see her all the time, and it is really wonderful to have such a leader who is both leading at the statewide level, at the macro level, but also here in our communities, talking about our practical day-to-day needs of residents of our community. As the governor said, we have been working very hard to invest in equity and access and affordability of higher education. And as the governor also said, some of that work really is long overdue. This budget that we did this year, $220 billion budget, invests in many long overdue priorities that really are going to move this state forward. It is, as was noted, the governor's first budget, and I was very proud to work with her and my colleagues. She mentioned a few of our leaders in higher education on really getting this right and really putting forth a budget that will advance this state. And that's true in not more true in any other area than it is true in the higher education portions. What we're announcing today is particularly meaningful to me. I am also someone who comes from a family of immigrant stock. I had the benefit and the privilege of getting a great higher education largely because of an ability to depend on very generous financial aid programs. And since many decades ago when I was seeking higher education, costs have grown astronomically, and I think the challenges that our families and our students face also have grown. And especially we know our part-time students, who very often are juggling a variety of other obligations to family, to health care, to jobs that they're doing. So it has always been something that people tell us that we provide education, we provide the opportunity, but we make it far too difficult for people to participate. I want to also just take a moment to acknowledge CUNY, and particularly this wonderful branch of the institution that we're here. We have, the leaders of CUNY across the board were announced, and in particular BMCC, which educates tens of thousands of students, all of whom are seeking, as the governor said, to develop the skills and the perspective and the credentials necessary to participate fully in our economy and in our communities. And BMCC, this is an institution that has struggled. 9/11 hit this institution hard. During COVID, a lot of the students who work here were particularly impacted because of the neighborhoods they come from, because of the work they have to do. But it is an institution that has always striven to really provide for the students. And so I want to thank the faculty, the staff, and the students that really have made this institution a marvelous place. And that's a good segue. So our next speaker here is Amy Santana. Perhaps we'll also hear from Noah. I'm not sure if Noah's going to make it up here. But Amy is studying nursing. In a separate note, we're working on getting more capital for the nursing program here. But let's hear from Amy Santana, one of our students here. Thanks.
Hello, everyone. Oh, no one's going to join me? Okay. It is so great to be here with you all. When I was asked if I would come and share my story, immediately I said yes, because I think it's important that everyone understands the human impact that Governor Hochul has done for people like me. My name is Amy Santana. I was born and raised in New York, grew up in the Bronx, and now live in Mount Vernon. I am 34 years old. I am a mom to an incredible 5-year-old son, Noah, who's here with me today. And I am one of the 75,000 part-time students who's going to get a higher education because of the changes that Governor Hochul has made to part-time TAP. This fall, I will be starting my associate's degree here at BMCC to become a nurse. And I'll be the first person in my family to go to college. This has been a lifelong dream of mine, but for most of my life, it was impossible. When I was a teenager, my father died suddenly and left my mother to care for herself and my sister and I. There was no money for college. So financially, it made more sense for me to go out and work. And that's what I did. I got a part-time job at TD Bank and worked my way up from a part-time teller to a sales and service manager. I couldn't I had to put my dreams aside because reality didn't give me much options. I had to care for my mother and myself, and 5 years ago when my son was born, I had to care for my son. I couldn't be a full-time student, so I couldn't access the financial aid that I really needed, but that dream was always inside of me. And now that Governor Hochul has expanded part-time TAP, it works for students like me, and I can make my dream my reality. I've already fulfilled all of my prerequisites, which I paid for out of my own pocket, and I managed to proudly maintain a 4.0 GPA. But this fall, I will finally get the financial aid that I need to get the degree I need on a timeline that works for me without having to quit my job. When I told my son I was going to become a nurse, his first reaction was, "Why, Mommy?" But now when he sees me studying in that study room that I have for late hours, he'll check on me, he'll say, "It's okay, Mommy, because I know when I get sick and when everybody else gets sick in the family, you're going to take care of us." He's already putting me to work. He makes me so proud that he's proud. And it makes me proud to know that once I become a nurse, I will be able to give Noah what I never had when I was a kid. For example, summer camp, swimming lessons, sports, learning how to play the cello, which has always been a dream of mine. But I will also be teaching him by example that it's never too late to follow your dreams. If Mommy could do it at 34, you could do it too, Noah. I know that New York is making an investment in me and students like me across the state. It's investing in me through part-time TAP, and it's investing me in so many other ways that Governor Hochul mentioned. So, Governor Hochul, I want you to know that I will use my nursing degree to give back to the state, my home state. After watching New York make it through the pandemic, I am more committed than ever to become a nurse. I want to join the healthcare heroes in the front line, and part-time TAP is going to get me there. My name is Amy Santana. I am a mother, a first-generation college student. I am a future New York nurse, and I am so grateful. Thank you again, Governor.
Thank you for attending today's event. We ask that you please remain seated while we take a quick photo. Thank you.